Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is June 14th, 2021. This is episode 332. The Joker, also featuring Punchline. This is a DC Comics number 4 in the series. I'm assuming it's going to go 5 or 6 issues. They really haven't told us. On the cover here, I really don't like this cover. It looks like a Mad Magazine drawing. It looks like a parody. And Joker's asking, want to see something funny? Okay, this came in at $5.99. It is like 30 pages or so of content. First 20 being the story about the Joker, and the last 8 or 10 about Punchline. Now, this actually, the first couple issues, or 3 issues, it seems like it was more about James Gordon, who's kind of buried there. This issue actually has the most, probably more panels of Jokers than the first 3 issues combined. He gets a bigger part in this finally. And what can I say? It is a recommend. I think it's going along pretty good. Let me see if I can find exactly where credits are on this. I think it's pretty far back. Yeah, they jammed them all the way in the back here. James Tynion the fourth is the writer. Gilliam March is the artist. And I can't really read what that says. It looks like Asif Kanto is doing the colors, with Tom Napolitano doing the lettering. Okay, so real quick, the synopsis of this is there are like 3 groups trying to take down the Joker, and the reason they want him dead is because of the Arkham explosion that killed like 500 inmates and staff there, including Bain. He was probably one of the main ones, but some other prominent people were killed as well, and they want revenge on the Joker. Now, Joker's saying that he didn't do it, but everybody thinks elsewise. James Gordon has been offered $25 million to kill the Joker himself, and the Joker is in this Central American resort, holding off while these 3 different factions come in to kill him. All right, and it got a little confusing at the beginning here. So they're showing here, but it's actually James Gordon talking, and I'm thinking, I didn't catch on that. I was like, I go, she's a man? I was under the impression that she was a man, but we do find out in this issue that she's actually kind of got the Bain mask on, even though it doesn't have the mouthpiece. But they really don't explain more than that. I couldn't really find anything else about it. She's leading a group of her own into the jungle to the Joker's resort area, and she has noticed that there's Joker henchmen in the trees. She's knocked down the tree. She's super strong like Bain, and they're taking out his army. As you can see here, she's got a whole group of them. She's ripping off arms, putting her arm in people's chests, rip the heart out. The Joker's watching all this gleefully as James Gordon is taking aim at him, but he can't pull the trigger. He's just saying, I'm just as bad as everybody else if I do this, even though he has every right to. And suddenly, Bain grabs, or not Bain, but one of the guards grabs James Gordon, and just at the last minute, the bus comes through with Vicky and Buddy, and I can't remember if their last name's Hooper. They're like a Texas family that's into cannibalism, not unlike the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So they're out there to kill the Joker as well. So everybody's kind of converged all at once on this resort. As you can see, Joker doesn't seem that worried about the whole thing, and he does get the drop on everybody by releasing some tear gas, which knocks them out. In the meantime, back in Gotham, Barbara's watching or trying to keep track and find out who the person that hired James Gordon is. Cressida is her name. And all they've been able to figure out is that her last name starts with the C. So she's got, Stephanie Brown helping her out, along with Cassandra Cain, who's been watching her from above outside the building. So they're trying to find out what Cressida is all about here. And they've not been able to so far. So, with everybody knocked out, the Joker's got Buddy Hooper stitching his mouth closed. I'm not sure why he's doing that, but Buddy was a good-looking guy, not so much any longer. And he's talking to James, and he wants to find out what's going on. And James Gordon is convinced that Joker set the explosion off, and then Joker explains why it's not him, that he's mad about it as well, because it's not his style. He had other plans for Arkham, and it just kind of messed up his big plan. So you've got the Court of the Owls involved with this as well. It's been a pretty good story. It's a little bit too much dialogue for my taste, and narration, but I think you could have got a little bit more efficient on this thing. But it's been a pretty good story so far. I will be continuing on with that. And then we have the Punchline one. If you recall, Punchline is in prison awaiting her trial, and the Royal Flush gang in the prison wants her dead. And as you can see, there's a guard checking on Punchline, but Punchline has made a deal with Orca, who the gang had hired to kill Punchline. Meanwhile, we've got Bluebird in the basement of a college building that's been set on fire. She's been given some kind of paralyzing gas where she can't really move, and she's doing her best and is able to move a little bit and escape the fiery basement that had all this evidence against Punchline in it, basically, and Joker as well. And she's laid there unconscious. Meanwhile, back at the prison, they're visiting Punchline, who they think is all beaten up. But this is where Orca springs his plan and knocks out the Queen of Spades, I believe it is, of the Royal Flush gang. And it turns out the other two people there are not with her as well, and they're going to go ahead and kill for Punchline here. And that's where this one ends. Next up is All Hail the New Queen. So I'm assuming the new queen is Punchline in the prison, at least. Let's see what the name of this one is. Next is Year One for the Joker story. So I'm glad to see that the Joker is in it more than James Gordon. However, it was a little bit wordy. The Punchline one is interesting enough. It's that one is written by, I believe it's Sam John. I think that's his name. Let's see if I can find that. Here we go. Sam Johns and James Tynion the fourth as well, and Mirka Andolfa does the art on that. So there you go. All right, also in this issue we get a big spiel about the DC Pride Special Edition. It's got all kinds of neat stuff in it, like Batwoman, Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn, Midnighter, Flash, Green Lantern, Dreamer, The Question, plus Aqualad and Pied Piper, so something to look forward there. Then also have this Crush and Lobo comic coming out, and it just continues on, so you get your pride on. Snagglepuss Chronicles. I don't know if anybody's beaten down the door for that one, but maybe it's pretty good. I don't know. And there's the DC variants for Pride Month. Okay, Batman Reptilian coming up. That is going to be on Black Label in June, so sometime this month. I don't know if I'll be reviewing that. It is a Garth Ennis book. I wasn't too happy with Garth's last issue of Marjorie Finnegan. If you saw my review on that, I actually made me jump off that book. But this is probably not going to be quite as shocking since it's a DC Black Label, and they probably won't let him have free reign with his political ideology. Okay, Crush and Lobo, there you go, writer. Little blurb about Mariko Tamaki. And you can get your Pride on some more here with your rainbow shirts. Okay, Rick and Morty, Adult Swim, June 20th. So there you go. I am still on this book, even though it does have its flaws. I thought it was entertaining enough and enjoyable enough. So let's put this, where do we put this? I'll put it way up here. It does get the Good Excavating seal of approval given out only by Indie Comics Jones on this particular channel. And thank you for being particular for choosing to watch this review. I know I'm late with all of my comics, but I still have a few more reviews to go. All right. Please like, please subscribe, please leave comments, and we'll see you next time at the Temple of Tomes. This is Indie Comics Jones bidding you adieu.